Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast, and welcome to the preview show where we look at everything coming up in boxing this week. This week that includes Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron in Birmingham and Dalton Smith once again in Sheffield in a nice stacked matchroom card. We'll kick off with, of course, Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron, the controversy, the rematch, the draw, the over the ropes, all that good stuff. Where do we start?
Fair play to both of them for stepping back in there, and I cannot wait.
To be done, wouldn't it?
I cannot wait for a 12-round fight. Oh,
10 rounds, unfortunately.
10 rounds. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, I read the wrong bit of the contract. No, it was good to see him fighting again. Ben Whittaker, obviously, he was put in deep waters, weren't he, in Saudi Arabia, and obviously that over-the-top rope perhaps was a blessing because it gave him a way out, because he looked out. Well, he wasn't going his way that night, in my opinion. It was a close fight. I think I scored it a draw after 5, maybe, or even gave it to Liam Cameron by 1. But it's good that they're both fighting, and it's credit to Ben Whittaker as well for taking the rematch in a sense of it is their second meeting, but it's going to be probably the first time that they're properly going to be fighting again. But there's a lot of pressure on Whittaker this week. I saw the gloves are off on last night, Sunday night for us, and Liam Cameron compared the first fight to this fight like getting a tattoo.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
You like getting a tattoo, but it hurts, but you want another one, and it's a bit like this with...
once you sit back in the chair, you forget how much it hurt last time. And
I think that's what... But that's the thing with Ben Whittaker, he hasn't got all the big professional fights, but he was an incredible amateur, and it's just going to be a great night. And we were comparing this fight card to what happened on last year's Easter Sunday, Fabio Wardley, Frazer, Clarke, and if it's anything like that fight, boys, we are in for a treat.
Oh, I hope so. With Frazer Clarke on the card as well, of course. But yeah.
Hey, don't forget about Ebenezer Tate as well.
Yeah, of course. No, I think it's such a hard fight to sort of know how it's going to go because, like I think I said it on the last podcast possibly, or there would have been the one before. There would have been maybe the one before that. I said that Ben Whittaker is undoubtedly a more skillful boxer in terms of technical ability.
Yeah.
But it's not a boxing technical off. It's a fight. It's a scrap. And Liam Cameron realised after about 2 or 3 rounds into that last fight, hang on a minute.
I've got him, yeah.
I can just walk through this and I can just keep going and I'll just wear him down. And it worked. So will it work again, or will Ben Whittaker now with Andy Lee be able to work him out and be able to find a way to win? It's so difficult to
Great partnership.
Sometimes styles make fights tonight, and as good as Whittaker is at what he does, maybe Cameron's sort of style is just that bit chaotic for him, where it drags him down to his level. And I think that's what happened out in Saudi Arabia. But watching that sort of face-to-face, I still don't know whether Whittaker's dealt with the fact that I think that he overlooked Cameron. And I still, like, when he was getting asked questions by Johnny Nelson about whether he quit or whether he found it tough, whether he was hurt, he just didn't want to answer them. So I don't know whether he's still trying to... whether he's come to the conclusion... because he said it was his worst night. But then again, still thought that he could have beat Cameron comfortably that night. I don't know. I think he needs to give Cameron credit in this fight and realise he's in for a tough test. He's not going to walk through Liam Cameron and make it easy. I think it'll be a very close fight over 10 rounds.
But do you think he's going to? Because I think he will absolutely be thinking, I'm in for a fight here. I'm in for a long night here. I'm going to have to be at my best to get through it, is how I think he'll think about it.
Yeah, I think... personally, I think he is, but I don't know, just in that face-to-face, it felt like he didn't want to give Cameron any credit.
Yeah.
It was just because I had done stuff wrong. And then he was like, with the training, he was saying beforehand it was a good camp, there was nothing wrong. And now there's sort of, it wasn't a great camp, that's why I've changed trainers, because I was being lazy or not doing the stuff I should do. So, like, wait, what do you believe? Do you know?
That fight against Cameron, was that a sort of thing where
his
Ben
attitude
Whittaker's
has
like,
changed
yeah,
as well, isn't it?
definitely.
Yeah, I think.
Got humble.
Well, it was interesting. We spoke to Andy Clarke at the launch of that gym over in Cardiff where we met Ben, and he sort of said that, having come into contact with him a few more times than ourselves, that he got the sense that he was starting to grow out of that kind of Ben Whittaker. You know, I'm that guy. I do I spin around, I slack you on the back of the head. These sorts of things, and he was kind of growing out of that a little bit. And I think that coincided with what ultimately would have been, a humbling experience to a degree against Liam Cameron. So I think, it all sort of coincided together. And if he can get through this fight, which I hope he does, because I really like Ben Whittaker, he's going to be a much, much better fighter for it.
And I think it was the thing with Whittaker as well, which rightfully so. Like, before that Liam Cameron fight, like Sky Sports and Boxxer were like pushing out all his videos of how good he looked, how good he was, and then as soon
Radio
as that
silence,
happened, it's gone from, he's the most viewed sort of fighter on the planet to everyone giving him so much stick. It would be really hard to deal with when the day before that fight, everyone is thinking how far are you going to go. Straight to the night after the fight, everyone's like, is he really who we thought he was? So I can understand why he'd probably want to be a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
He's technically the face of Boxxer as well, though. Let's not forget that he was the one that got sent over to America when they had that Peacock deal. And, I can understand. People said he quit in that last fight against Liam Cameron, and I think that's a little bit harsh, because obviously I've never been thrown over a top rope and had someone double the same weight as me land on top of me, so I don't know what that feeling's like, but I think for that to happen in that fight, I think he's lying on that floor and he's thinking, I'm done here, I'm out on my feet. And you knew straight away that when you were watching it, because I was watching it with my dad, and I said to him, oh yeah, watch him, he doesn't take these fights seriously, you dance around him, one punch and all that. We saw a different Ben Whittaker that night, and I think we're going to see the same Ben Whittaker, more serious, more switched on. Well, he has to be, because Liam Cameron is a very tough opponent, and we've seen that. And the guy, obviously, he's been out of boxing for a while, he's come back in, and it's great to see, but yeah, Ben Whittaker needs to be on it on Saturday night, because if he's not, Liam Cameron's going to be thinking, oh my God, this is, again, easier than I thought.
Yeah, I think the benefit Ben's got is it's going to be in Birmingham.
Yeah.
You've got the likes of Tyler Denny and stuff on the card as well, so there's going to be a very localised crowd, which you would imagine will want him to win that fight and be with him, whereas if it was done elsewhere in the UK or perhaps
back in Riyadh,
he wouldn't have that same support, and it might again feel like the world's against him, which it was at one point. Let's be real, Twitter was having a field day.
But what was it?
He's got a split sort of following anyway, don't he? Like, some people love him, some people hate him.
But the people who hated him, that was a field day they had for the week after the fight.
And that's the problem, is whether or not people loved him or hated him, and it's still the case now.
I just mean in terms of the fans in there on the night. I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of people from his area just as much want to see him win will want to see him lose.
Do you think? No, I think the Midlands will come through strong and proud, I think.
Well, Liam Cameron's got a lot of people coming as well, he said on that Gloves Are Off. But no, it's a great fight, and it's good that Ben Whittaker's gone. He could have easily just put this to bed and said, oh, well, I'll ignore what happened. That was an off night, that never happened, and move on. And you got to give him credit for taking that challenge again. It's a great card, and you talked about Tyler Denny. It's great to see him back out in action.
Yeah.
Obviously after that defeat to Hamza Shiraz, which was a little bit disappointing, because Tyler Denny's one of the nice guys in boxing, I think. So it's great to see him back in action against one of your favourite fighters.
Yeah.
I was going to say the GOAT, but people might take that wrong.
A man of many names.
Yes.
Obviously, the Soldier.
He was the one that fought Callum Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was great fun. Yeah. And I think he'll be a real tough test for Tyler Denny. Not in the sense of, he's unorthodox as it comes, but I think it's a good test for Tyler Denny.
Unorthodox. It's just a style. It's just his style.
Yeah, exactly. Style. But it'll be that's a good test for Tyler Denny. And Frazer Clarke's back in the ring again against a very fun fighter who's fought in all parts of the world, as Ben was telling me. Where was your favourite venue in which he fought?
One of them was like Prison Hall or something it was called.
In
No
Accra,
way.
yeah, in Ghana.
No way.
So he's
We'll
done
have to
it
watch
all.
that, because remember when he was fighting Dillian White, we were all watching
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fight back. There's some brilliant locations.
Brilliant.
But
He
again,
just like comes over here to get stopped by. Well, he's been beaten by Dubois and
Yeah.
Dillian White last time out. So
well, Dillian White, he didn't look...
you'd expect Frazer Clarke to get him
Yeah.
out of there, but like I
Hang
said,
on,
it's a
click on-
building period for him now.
If we
After
click on-
that,
Let's see the names of the
Tough
venues if it
loss
comes up. If we
against,
can...
So, the
Bordeaux.
venues he's fought at, sorry.
Let's see him.
Stade Municipal Sokodi, which is in the Togo, I think
Yeah.
it's in. North K Sports Complex, Accra. T-Square Arena, Aflao, which is Ghana again.
Hang on, don't name that one, because that's another boxing
Gehea
YouTube
Lounge.
channel. We don't want to shout them out.
The Royal Albert Hall, Napoleon Boxing Complex, Liberty Park. It's all in Ghana, basically. Seaward Fishing Park. That sounds like fun. Prisons Canteen, Accra, yeah.
Prisons Canteen.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What boy?
No, but it's great. And in the other way, Frazer Clarke, it's good to see him back out. Obviously, when he lost against Fabio Wardley, that his face that night was terrible. And you know, I want to say he's from around Birmingham way as well. I
From
could be wrong.
Staffordshire, I believe. So it's
Okay,
not,
so
not too far.
away. But no, it's great to see him back out in action. Obviously, last week he did an interview with a Stomping Ground, and he was calling out David Adelaide, saying he's not what he says he is and all that. So perhaps there's a narrative that we can go down in the future between them. And
I think there are still fights for Frazer Clarke.
the next time you see David Adelaide now, you'll have to call him out.
Yeah, I will, yeah. No, I think that Frazer Clarke, you know, when you look back at it, that Fabio Wardley fight, that first one, I had him winning that fight, and at worst it was a draw, and it got given as a draw, and it was a close fight. Obviously the second one, not quite so close, didn't quite last so long, but it was an absolute war, and Fabio Wardley has now kicked on and is going on to do bigger and better things, and I don't think Frazer Clarke, if it hasn't taken too much out of him, those two fights, I think he should still be in there with a chance to do something and win some titles. Probably an English title, possibly a British title.
it's about
Yeah,
getting...
I could definitely see Frazer Clarke fighting for a British title, considering David Adelaide is the one currently holding it. Personally, I think Clarke would beat Adelaide.
Be a great fight, that.
It would be very good to watch, and they're obviously trying to build up towards that, because I think the logical step is for Clarke to try and claim the British belt before he tries to push on for anything else, because that's ultimately what he went for against Wardley. But yeah, I think that would be the step that they're going to try and make, but he's got to get through this weekend first, which I think he will.
Yeah, if he doesn't get through in incredible fashion, then something's wrong.
I don't see it
But
lasting long.
do you reckon that stoppage may... You know, you see fighters come back
can
after getting
happen,
stopped.
don't it?
Anthony Joshua, prime example. You know, is he going to be a
As
bit more
rough as
cautious?
it looked really bad because of the facial injury, but it can happen.
It can happen. I think he'll be fine. And I think he should be confident against someone like Tessa that he can go in there and get
Whoa.
a good victory.
Okay, I thought you were going to disrespect him.
No.
Let's not disrespect Tete.
Yeah, elsewhere on this card, before we move on to obviously the other card as well, you've got Lee Cutler fighting, stepping up against Sam Eggington.
Great fight.
The
Great
one
fight.
I'm most looking forward to, I think.
You were obviously witness to the first fight with him and Stephen McKenna, which was a fight
I honestly think that may be, especially live, that might be the best fight I watched all year.
Yeah,
I love the back and
fight.
forth of that, and I mean,
And I think this will be a really good fight as well for the WBC International Silver.
And I want to say Lee Cutler is going into away territory. Sam Eggington's from that part of the world again.
Yeah, well, Lee Cutler certainly isn't. He's from Bournemouth
yeah.
way. Sam Eggington is from West Midlands, Smethwick. What a place!
Have you been there?
No, and you wouldn't want to either. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it's
Can I just say that fight I didn't realise was on there until I came in this morning on the train and looking at the card. That's an incredible fight.
It's a really good fight. Yeah.
Great domestic dust up, and hopefully Ben will be there watching it live.
Yeah, and even elsewhere on the card, you've got Mark Jeffers against TBA, boring 6-rounder, unfortunate for Mark Jeffers, but
gonna be fuming.
such a good fighter. Elliot Whale, I watched down in
Yeah.
Brentwood on a top tier show, beat Lloyd Germain for the Commonwealth Silver, I think that was, and he's got power in the hands. That'll be a really good fight. I think Ballingall was
He's signed
area
to
champion
boxer as well, don't he?
He is, yeah. And then Troy Coleman versus Bradley Goldsmith, in Birmingham, a Midlands area title, middleweight fight.
That's going to have some atmosphere, I'm sure.
It's going to be a great... That's what I mean. It will bring people in. People will be excited for it. It's a good fight. It's a kind of... it's a crowd warmer, isn't it?
It's actually a really good card. Isn't it?
That's the thing. But honestly, this could be an unpopular opinion. I think Boxer put on good cards.
When they put them on, there was that one... It was the Frazer, Clarke, Fabio Wardley card, where bar the main event, you could have guessed every result, I think, and we did. So much so I had a fiver on it.
Oh, the Callum Simpson card. Callum Simpson card again.
Oh, yeah, of course.
December card was another one. But Boxer do put on decent cards from top to bottom, which is good.
Yeah, they do. And speaking of decent cards, I got a little bit of sick about this on Twitter when I tweeted about this. I think it was Kai. Kai, if you're listening, big up yourself. You've shown us a lot of support over the time, so thank you for that. But I think this is a good card, or this is a card I was excited to see.
Yeah.
And Kai obviously disagreed, which he's more than entitled to, and I can see
because Josh Warrington's on it.
Why I'm excited.
Yeah.
I can give you 5 good reasons I'm excited for this card.
Visioli.
Reason number 1, Dalton Smith back in the ring again, keeping busy, setting himself up for a good fight. It's not the most difficult test in the world, it should win it, but it'd be exciting to see him again.
Gets a world title fight after that, surely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2, Josh Warrington. I'm a Leeds fan. I want to see Josh Warrington fight again.
Could be in trouble, I reckon, Josh Warrington.
Do you now? Yeah. Josh Padley back in the ring. Obviously, Harry Klein, future world champion. But just excited.
I got that. What you got?
Happy to see him. Be in there with
WBA. He's fighting for
with anyone for WBA International.
That's a world title for some people.
Now under Matchroom, great stuff. And then Giorgio Visioli is a really exciting prospect. One of my prospects of the year in the past. One of my ones to watch. Kane Baker is a decent operator, has fought for English title. It's a good test for Visioli. And then Lely Buttigieg is a great fighter as well, who I've seen in La Flèche, and that's why I'm excited for this card.
You know what you get. You know what you get with Kane Baker, tough, durable, and that's probably a good test for Visioli again early on in his career. What he's going to be? He's 6-0 now, 7-0.
7-0 if he wins it. Yeah.
Has he won every fight by stoppage? Or was it 5 out of 6?
I think there was one. I think it was 5 out of 6. I think there was one that went the distance.
His last fight, was it?
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There was the one fight against who was it? The Copper Box against Tampella Mahrusi, whoever that is. But other than that, it's all been stoppages and reasonably early as well. He's tidy, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is tidy.
I can understand why he's your prospect of the year. But talking about Josh Padley again, it's great to see him back out, and it's good. Obviously, when he fought Shakur Stevenson, he probably went a lot further than what everyone was expecting in that fight, but to come back and get a decent fight and to be signed by someone now as well, I think that's the main thing that Josh Padley wanted from that week. He obviously probably wanted to win over in Riyadh, but it was all about putting his name out there and hoping to get a promoter to sign him, and obviously Eddie Hearn's done that, and he's getting his chance at a big title. You know, the WBA International is a decent ranking title to have. Obviously, it's not the world title that he probably dreams of getting, but it's that step forward into getting that. And Josh Warrington's on there. I don't think we need to really talk about Josh Warrington on there because we got someone here that will talk all day about him. But for someone that put his gloves in the ring when he lost to Kakache in Wembley last summer, you thought, that was it. In a way, I'm happy to see him back out in action again. And I don't know. Obviously, he's up against an opponent that's he's probably going to get through, but he's on the run of 3 defeats.
What's the end goal for him now, though?
Exactly. What's the need? He's been there and done everything now.
His interviews basically said that he wasn't happy with the performance and he's still got more to give, and he thinks that if he believes that if he can give a performance he is happy with, then he'll happily walk away from the sport. But until that, he won't. So this might be the last one, or it might be set up for another good fight. I'd like to see. I've said this before. I want to see him fight Mickey Conlan. I think that would be an unbelievable fight. Mickey Conlan's obviously
he's probably going to be there as well.
Both fought Lee Wood of a similar.
I'm sure.
Conlan fought this man last, and I just think.
I feel like that sets it up nicely.
It does, yeah.
Do you reckon that's why they've put Khan in there then?
Maybe I don't know, but I think that's a good fight. For fans, for Josh, for Conlan, it just makes sense for everyone. I think that fight, and I think if Josh Warrington loses that Mickey Conlan fight, then possibly it's time to hang up the gloves just based off of that.
I think it'd be a good last fight.
And if he beats Mickey Conlan, then he can go, do you know what? That's time for me to I've done that. I've got the performance I needed, because he came quite close against Lee Wood. He looked good against Kachachi to a point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can see why he thinks there's more to give.
That's fair enough.
You could tell he's a big fan of Josh Warrington, can't you? You can just talk
I'm
about
doing
it
his
all
PR
day,
for him.
all day long. Ryan Kelly.
Yeah.
Now that's a fight.
And who's he fighting, Harry?
I don't know. I can't really see it, to be honest.
And how do you pronounce it? Let me zoom in for you. How do you pronounce that
we're
one
not
there?
doing this on this, sure.
Go on, give it a go.
No, you're putting me on the spot, yeah. Kevin. It's Kevin. It's the Irish way of saying Kevin, you said to me.
It's Kevin. It's Kevin.
Kevin Agaku. Okay.
Who I watched
Is it?
the other week.
Yeah.
Watched the other week at York Hall on Top Tier. Managed
It's a
by...
late call-up, you know?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
He's managed by the same guy who manages the Croft twins. And he... So...
Now you're struggling with names, so why?
No, I just remember. I can't remember his name, but he's a lovely guy. Paul Reddy, I think his name is.
Yes, that's probably it.
But yeah, he's a tidy fighter. I was saying to someone at the top of the show, he's ranked higher than Madrimov with the WBA at his weight class.
That just shows the rankings in boxing.
And he stepped in for Ishmael Davis, which would have been a great fight, let's be real.
Yeah.
But
I had Ishmael Davis winning that fight against Ryan Kelly because he lost his last fight, drew with Jerome Warburton. Jerome Warburton fighting for, I want to say the British, or is the final eliminator, something like that.
It's the British.
But no, another decent fight. And people, I said last year, Eddie Earn, it's a bit like Boxer. I know I've already said about Boxer, but again, these domestic cards, there are some good fights on there. And obviously, I think you can easily say everyone on the left-hand side should win. But there's one person on the right-hand side in Kev that can probably put the upset in, can't he?
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, I think Dalton Smith should win, Josh Warrington should win, Josh Padley should win, Visioli should win, Buttigieg should beat TBA. But I don't think it has to be. You know, I think this card has a place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not a Riyadh season card. I
but
wouldn't
not
pay
every-
for it, but I don't have to. So I will watch it. And I will
Not
enjoy it.
every card's going to have the big names, the big fights. It's
Getting
all
too
about
used to
exactly.
undisputed title fights. I mean,
We're getting
it's
too
like-
greedy as boxing fans.
We are.
And,
We are definitely.
I think it's good to have a card like this that you can sit down on Saturday night, a few cans, and be entertained. And I think all these fights from the main card, because I'm assuming Visioli's going to be on before the bell.
Don't know.
Above that is going to be fireworks, I think, and hopefully Josh Warrington gets the win, relights his career, and But we haven't even talked about Dalton Smith. You know, Dalton Smith is a bit like Jack Castro now,
A little bit, yeah.
in a sense of he's just waiting for that world title shot. You know, that's what he wants. I think it's El Puelo he's meant to be fighting. He's fighting some Jermaine a guy from Canada. He's coming off a stoppage win. Hello.
Coming off of
Has
two
he
stoppage
fought, has he
wins.
fought outside of Canada? Not by the looks of it.
No, he looks. I mean, he's one of those. It would be hard to. He got a draw against Steve Claggett, who's a tidy fighter. Steve Claggett bought for Teofimo Lopez
Yes,
last time.
that's
He's a
it.
tidy enough fighter. But yeah, no, I think it's a fight that he should be winning, Dalton Smith, which is why we haven't spoken
Is
about it.
it a
to
bit
any great
harsh to
degree.
say it's a stepping stone? Like, just to keep you
Should
warm?
be, yeah. Should be.
And he's the same camp as Liam Cameron, so
What
it's going to
world
be a busy
title
weekend
is he
for him.
going for though? Dalton
WBC.
Smith.
I think he's ranked
I think
number
he's
one.
ranked with the WBC's WBC Silver. So the
Who's the
WBC
WBC
champ.
Alberto Puelo,
Super
because he was
lightweight,
vacated
yeah.
by Devin Haney, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
So you'll have Puelo against Dalton Smith next then, hopefully.
in America or in Sheffield? At Bramall Lane? Oh no, Hillsborough.
What?
Which
Championship
yeah.
Stadium
Sheffield
at
Wednesday.
Bramall
Sheffield
Lane.
Wednesday, yeah.
Could do it.
Hills-
You could, a League One stadium or Championship Sheffield United next season. So, just to get that in there.
Stir the pot, Sam.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Cardiff City's League One as well, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the Cardiff City Stadium's League One stadium.
Sorry, man.
We're in Newport. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's a good card. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a good weekend.
Do you know what it is good for the predictions? Which one are we doing?
Can we
Ben
do all
Whittaker,
of them?
Liam Cameron?
Can we do all of them? Just to be a bit different, because it's our first preview show in our new studio.
Yeah, if you want.
You know,
Yeah.
it is costing us a fortune to be in here, so I think we
Yeah.
need to try and save what.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Who says no? Are you struggling to get it to load? Is that the?
We're going with Whitaker Cameron first.
We'll do Whittaker
okay.
Cameron first.
Okay, I've loaded
Whittaker
them on
Cameron 2, I suppose we should say.
It doesn't feel like I said at the top of the show. It doesn't feel like a rematch, because we didn't see. Obviously, we had 15 minutes last time. Royal Rumble-esque finish.
So
Troy
on this
Coleman.
one, yep, Troy Coleman versus Bradley Goldsmith, middleweight 10-rounder for the Midlands area title. We'll start with you, Benjamin Thomas. Who are you going for?
I've gone for Bradley Goldsmith by points.
I agree.
I'm going for a Goldsmith stoppage for that one. Tyler Denny versus Elvis Ohorga. My man, super middleweight. This says super middleweight 10-round. I thought it was a middleweight.
I think it's a
10-rounder.
middleweight, yeah.
I don't think Tyler Denny's moving up to super middleweight, mind. He's not even the biggest middleweight, but we'll say it's a middleweight. Who are you going for?
I've gone for Tyler Denny by points.
Same.
Yeah, I've got Tyler Denny by points as well.
Okay.
Sounds good. We're going all together. Frazer Clarke versus Ebenezer Tete.
This is going to hurt.
Me
all
first.
gonna say.
Clarke KO.
Yeah, this is hurting, but yeah, I think Tete gets
I
stopped
think it'll be
again.
very quick.
Really? Okay.
Now this one is a really hard one to call. Lee Cutler versus Sam Eggington.
I've gone Cutler by decision.
I've gone for the same.
I'm going to go different and go Cutler by knockout.
Ooh.
Late stoppage.
Not even Eggington. That's bold. I'm not
Late
seeing
stoppage.
it.
I
I'm
know
not seeing
Eggington never gets stopped, but...
And then Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron. Light heavyweight 12
This is the tough
rounder. Joking, it's a 10-rounder. What are you going for?
It is down the
Tough,
top,
it
right?
is. Oh, here we go.
I think Whitaker wins in a sort of 96, 94, 95 sort of card by points. Really, really close, I think.
Fair enough. I've gone for a Whittaker points decision.
I think it'll be 6-4 either way. But I'm going to go a bit different. I'm going Liam Cameron by decision.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Just doing my rounds in my head
Yeah,
now.
so... 44, I've gone for.
I've gone for the same.
Okay.
But we've gone for different things, so it doesn't actually matter.
I've gone 42.
And
Smith.
then we're moving over to the Dalton Smith card.
We're going back in time now.
You guys can go do this along with us if you so wish. Or you can just sit there and watch us, or you can kick off if you want. I can't stop you.
Well,
You have
Boxxer's got
free
this
will.
as 10-rounder, but it should be an 8-rounder.
Giorgio Visioli versus Kane Baker, super featherweight. Once again, that is an 8-rounder for Giorgio Visioli, in which he is going to get the stoppage.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone by stoppage as well.
Yep. I'm going for this one. This is another tough... They're all tough fights to call.
They are.
Apart from Frazer Clarke Tete, I think and Tyler Denny's fight.
Stalling here, you are.
Agiaku...
You haven't gone to that one yet.
Have I missed the
You
fight?
haven't given your Visioli one, did
Oh,
you?
have I? Visioli by stoppage. Sorry.
Oh, right, I was going to say.
It's just copying.
Kevin Agiarco versus Ryan Kelly. You've already kind of made your call. I'm going for an Agiarco points decision.
Yeah, I'm going to Galco decision. as
I'm
well.
in between stoppage. What did you go points?
Yeah.
Right, I'll go stoppage to be different.
Right, Josh Padley versus Marko Kvetanovic, lightweight 10-rounder for the WBA International. Future world champion Josh Padley, as Harry's previously said.
Could be. Could be.
It's Padley, but how?
Points.
Yeah, I've got Padley by points.
I got Padley by points, so that
All the
was
same.
that wasn't quite as dramatic as I hoped it would be. Josh Warrington versus Asad Asif Khan.
Josh Warrington should
First
stop
upset of
him.
the night.
Really? Oh, I go on, Ben.
Josh Warrington wins by stoppage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
same.
should win. If he doesn't win by stoppage,
Yeah.
then it'd be a little bit disappointing.
Dalton Smith versus Matthew Germain. Dalton Smith knockout.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that seems all pretty rudimentary. There's a lot of knockouts on this card, if we're right, to be fair.
Early night, Saturday night, not complaining about that. And Matchroom are seemingly getting closer and closer to that 9:30 main event ring walk, aren't they?
They are.
Which
They're
is
working
good.
on it. We like that.
Not like Queensbury where you have 11 o'clock at night ring
Yeah,
walk.
I can live with that.
It's
You know,
nice
it's a little
to
bit
have
past your
Saturday
bedtime,
and
bud, but
Sunday
you'll be
of
fine.
boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a really good weekend again. And we're down at a show in Swansea on Saturday.
What a card.
2 Welsh title fights. I'm not too sure about the Celtic title fight, if that's been...
No,
It's not
Rashid
title fight.
Omar's fighting in a 10-rounder. Willie Gilhaney, Ethan George, that's great.
That's a belt.
They were meant to fight in
Welsh
December.
fans.
That's going to be the best fight you see in Wales, I think,
Yeah.
this year.
Both the Croft twins back
Yeah.
in the ring.
James Atkins,
Always
Conor
exciting.
McIntosh.
Really good card.
It is a belting card.
Predictions. Can we do our predictions just for the Ethan George, Willie Gilhaney? We all go in Ethan
So we get
George?
another point at us.
Yeah.
Are you just do that to cover
I'm
yourself
Ethan
off?
George. I support you now, my friend. I think it's a great fight. And
And
if
your
you're
prediction?
around, if you're a Welsh boxing fan and you're around Swansea, go and watch it. Get your tickets. Go to the fighters, ask them for the tickets. I'm assuming there's still
Probably,
some
yeah.
available.
Someone
and-
will have one.
Yeah, it's a great. domestic boxing in Wales and in the UK is great, ain't
Have
it?
you given your prediction?
I have. I said Ethan George.
Bye.
I think he stops him.
Do you?
I do apologise, Willie. Yeah, I think Ethan
What about you,
George
bud?
wins by stoppage.
I think it depends how far the fight goes. I think Ethan's got a better chance early.
Have you got personal security as well, just in case, if you say Willie and he comes at you?
I probably would.
Told you.
I think I'd edge towards Ethan, maybe. Just because he's got a bit more experience in these fights.
Full credit to Willie Goaney as well, mine, for taking this fight early on in his career. He could have waited it out and just gone.
You need to do sometimes. I think especially with Welsh fighters.
Yeah.
They've got to take a bit more of a risk sometimes, I think.
I think it's going to be hard to call, but I do think Ethan will win it. But I think it'll be a point. I think it'll be a good, proper, close scrap.
It's on BBC as well.
I think both fighters are going to blow their gaskets a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a proper kind of...
Because has Ethan fought
Scrap.
since beating Ryan Pocock? I can't recall
Not to my
him
knowledge,
fighting,
I can't remember.
Can't recall him fighting, but I could be wrong there. But
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's a good card. We're looking forward to that content coming to the channel as always. So stick
yes.
around,
I
subscribe
can't
for all
remember.
that good
I'll
stuff.
look after.
Have a look on our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for all the good stuff. Spotify for the audio episodes, or if you're already on Spotify, YouTube if you'd like to see our faces. As always, thank you all for tuning in to the Puncher's Chance podcast. We'll see you all next week for a review and another preview show, as always.
Puncher's Chance. Puncher's Chance podcast.